The complex and chaotic streets of New York were about to change the life of a young detective named Alex. At 30 years old, he was an experienced police officer who had solved numerous murders on the city's streets. However, none of them were as complex and terrifying as the ones committed by an elderly woman. The story began one day when Alex received a file on his desk. It was a dossier compiled after several people had gone missing in the neighborhood. As things got more complicated, the police department called upon Alex to uncover the dark secrets hidden beneath this file. As Alex delved into the file, he noticed a common thread among the missing individuals, a woman named Evelyn. Evelyn was known among the locals as a charitable figure, but she also exhibited strange behavior in the eyes of some. Evelyn meticulously selected the people she targeted in the neighborhood. She would gain their trust first, being known as a charitable figure in the area. Then, she would manipulate them and encourage them to get closer to her. Those living in isolation, the lonely, and those far from their families were her prime targets. She would invite them to her home, often under the guise of helping. Once Evelyn brought her victims into her home, she revealed her true nature. She would imprison them in the basement, taking control of their lives and subjecting them to physical and emotional torture. The victims' screams would go unheard by the people in the neighborhood as Evelyn had meticulously figured out how to maintain silence. Young men were also among Evelyn's targets. She was particularly careful in selecting them, favoring those who were strong and healthy. She would involve them in her sinister games only to later destroy them. Alex and the police department embarked on a mission to track down Evelyn. However, Evelyn's meticulous selection process and her ability to destroy evidence presented a challenge at every turn. The police department struggled to accept that an elderly woman could be a serial killer, so Alex and his team had to find their own way to fight back. Fear in the neighborhood continued to escalate. People were afraid to leave their homes, locking their doors and windows, and living in constant paranoia. Theories about how Evelyn selected her victims and what she did to them abounded, but there was still much work to be done to uncover the truth. Finally, Alex and the police department began to close in on Evelyn. However, things took a complicated turn, and the final confrontation turned into a tense chase. Evelyn, despite her age, was fast and dangerous. Alex and his team struggled in their pursuit. But in the end, with the help of the community, they managed to capture Evelyn. However, the story took an unexpected twist. Evelyn managed to escape, but her escape came at a heavy cost. She left behind a trail of death, and the neighborhood was left in fear and terror. While Evelyn physically escaped, the dark legacy she left behind would forever affect this part of New York. Alex continued to be a diligent and vigilant detective on the city's streets. He and the neighborhood residents tried to erase the traces of the horrific experiences they had endured, but they knew that some wounds could never fully heal.